Okay guys, hope all of you are well. Today I am going to give you a little brief description, means what you have to read and what are the necessary things you have to read from this chapter in this lecture. The chapter is chapter 11 from Bipan Chandra book, The Split in the Congress and the Rise of Revolutionary Terrorism. Right, now I am going to give you some points, that what are the points you have to recover from this chapter. First, you see, it was a time where the moderate group of nationalists actually prevailed. There was a predominance of the moderate during this period. But this chapter gives us a notion that what are the different concerns that gradually it was a time when gradually the moderate was on the verge of losing its popularity, or there was some kind of stagnant result at the activities of the moderate. Right, then what are the different concerns of the moderate trend during this period? You see the utterly slow. This aspect means the method of the moderate was what? Giving petition, waiting for the response of the administration. However, the contemptuous approach of the administration was, the modern method was based on a kind of patience. It was utterly slow. Then another thing is the not up to the mark of youngsters. Why it was not up to the mark of the youngsters? Because the youngsters was with full blood. They were in young stage. They lacked patience. Youngsters lacked patience. On the other hand, what happened? The modern method was on the basis of petition. They gave petition. They have to wait for the result, and this method actually discouraged the youngsters. Right. That is why. That's why the modern method did not fulfill the expectation of the youngsters. Right. Then you see British contempt. The one of the concerns regarding the modern method was that it was the result of the response of the British administration was always contemptuous. Right? They never responded the petition of the Congress, Nationalist Congress, in a good way. Okay, they always gave an awkward reply. Right, they always give a short reply. Sometimes they also dominated the Nationalist Congress with oppression. So what were the concerns of the moderate nationalists during this period? That it was their method was utterly slow, due to which it did not fulfill the expectation of the young generation, who wanted something quick result in first result. And British always responded the nationalist with a very awkward way. Okay, with sometimes with oppression. Right. And as a result of these three factors led to the birth of rise of revolutionary terrorism. Right, when the modern method did not fulfill the expectation of the youngsters, it gave birth to some kind of dismay in their heart. Right, as a result of this, the youngsters found out a different path to fulfill their expectation. Right, resulting in which the revolutionary terrorism was born. And what was the tendency? What was the change there as in the British attempt as soon as the revolutionary terrorism was born? You see the British contempt. Earlier, what happened when Congress requested anything to the British administration, they always replied with contemptuous manner, in contemptuous manner. But as soon as revolutionary terrorism was born, what happened? This method of British contempt was changed, and what it turned, this method of British contempt turned into a kind of carrot and stick policy. Means what happened? Earlier, the British treated the Nationalist Congress in a contemptuous way. They thought that they did not have any popular base. Right, sometimes even Congress was criticized as microscopic minority, right, without any popular base or without any fundamental base. But as soon as revolutionary terrorism was born, a diplomatic policy was applied by the British administration. And what was the diplomatic policy? Carrot and stick. And one feature of the carrot and stick was the constitutional reform. The British was very tacit, they were very clever when they said that the revolutionary terrorism was born, and if they treated Congress in the same way, in contemptuous way, then Congress might inspire this revolutionary terrorism. That is why they applied a method so that the Congress became satisfied gradually, and Congress became satisfied, and they can also simultaneously dominate the revolutionary terrorism. That's why they applied carrot and stick method. And as a means of this carrot and stick method, British offered some constitutional reform in 1919. These constitutional reforms were, the purpose of these constitutional reforms were not to give an upper hand not to give an upper hand to Congress in administration. Right? It was a symbol, it was a result. They tried to show that the British was intentive to cooperate with the Congress, right? And Congress, they used Congress as a bait. The administration thought that if they show something optimistic view in future, that Congress will cooperate with the administration. In that expectation, Congress will cooperate with the British, and Congress will never put forward their hands with the revolutionary terrorism. It satisfied the two purposes of the British administration. They can actually satisfy the Congress with giving them an future optimistic vision, and on the other hand, they found a chance to dominate the revolutionary terrorism, which was actually became separated from the Congress. Right. Now, at this moment, the Congress and revolutionary terrorism both failed to see the vision, the tactics of the British administration. Congress failed to see that the British administration was giving them only a future vision, right? It was a bait only, okay, so that they never gave hand to the revolutionary terrorism. And on the other hand, revolutionary terrorism also failed to understand that British was using a tactic to make them separate from the Congress. Right, if there was Congress, that Congress will come as a defendant face of the revolutionary terrorism. Right, and the revolutionary terrorism failed to understand this tactic. Right, here both the moderate and the revolutionary terrorism actually made a fault. Then you see come to the problems of the extremist method. Resulting in all these factors, actually what happened, the young generation was separated from the moderate group, and it led to the birth of revolutionary terrorism. Right. But whether they succeeded, obviously it gave birth a kind of patriotism in the mind of the people, right? But it was momentary, right? Though extremists attracted the people, though extremists sacrificed their lives for the country, though they emanated a kind of feeling of patriotism in the heart of the people, but still they lack of some methods, resulting in their failure. One of the such methods is that they're not mass based. The method of the extremists were not mass based. It was an individual option. They will individually throw bombs, they will individually show courage. Right, it was not mass based. It is individual heroism based on the individual action, who is trying to emanate a kind of feeling of nationalism in the heart of people. They thought that throughout their courage and throughout their individual heroism, they will be able to emanate a feeling of patriotism and nationalism in the heart of people. Another is that it is momentary. Momentary means what? Yes, they instantly brought out a feeling of nationalism, in the mind of the common people. But its effect was not permanent. Its effect was not perennial. They instantly raised the emotion in the mind of people, but as soon as time passed, the emotion actually wiped out. It was quite momentary. In the lack of ideological propaganda, the extremist method did not have any political ideology or did not have any manifesto, written manifesto that these are the actions or these are the visions throughout which they will work, throughout which they will shape the nationalism in the country, right? They did not have any particular ideological propaganda. These are the points which you have to recover or which you have to keep in mind while reading this chapter. Besides these, for objective purposes, for objective points, you have to consider different aspects from the the Congress session in 1906 and Congress session in 1907. You have to read both these sessions very carefully to find the objective questions. For example, why there was crack appears between the moderate and nationalist. What are the different grounds? What the moderate wanted? For moderates wanted to limit the Swadeshi movement within Bengal, and extremists wanted to extend it beyond Bengal. In this, objective type of questions might arise from 1906 and 1907. What are the objectives accepted in the Congress session of 1907? Various objectives, right? You can face objective questions from there, right? And I will again come with another chapter in my next lecture. Till then, take care and bye bye.